Hey, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Alter Your Health podcast, Wisdom Wednesday today. I'm Dr. Benjamin Alter.
And I'm Dr. Susanna Alter.
And we are both naturopathic doctors who support and empower you in reclaiming your optimal health through whole food plant-based nutrition, as well as mind-body medicine. And today we're talking about flowing down the river with a life vest. All right, now hear me out. Dr. Susanna was not a big fan of this title of this episode, but this is what we're doing. And of course, this is a metaphor. We're not actually going to jump in the river, even though it would be really nice to do on this warm late summer day. But we're going to be talking about this metaphor of just feeling supported. And yeah, there might be rapids and rocks and maybe even like fish and leeches and like creatures, but we are safe and secure in this life vest that keeps us buoyant and hugs us and holds us. So we actually, through all of the kind of rapids and all of the insecure thinking and, oh, am I going to drown? Am I going to do this? We feel the buoyancy. And it's like, we know that we're going to be okay. So that's the topic of our conversation today.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And it's a good metaphor. It's funny. My idea for the title of this call was, how about staying connected with peace during crazy times?
Exactly. Like I said.
No, just like you said, in some really cool metaphorical language. I love it. Yes, but what's really inspired me to bring this up as this week's topic is because I've actually been hearing from some of our own clients, and it's been super inspiring for me to hear their journeys. But the common thread in some of these conversations I've had with some of our clients is that, yeah, you know what? Like, the world is crazy right now. Life is freaking crazy out there.
Can I get an amen for that?
But I'm feeling more connected with my innate peace. I've just been like going with the flow. I've just been kind of taking it day by day. And honestly, I've been feeling like we heard it today from someone. I've been feeling more confident, more self-love, more of everything in the last few months than I have at any other point in my life. And I just want to point that out. I think it's super duper cool and interesting, because if we were to like objectively look at, okay, what's going on in life right now, we might say that right now more people are going through some more kind of turbulent experiences, right?
Yeah,
some more challenges in life, right?
So they must be feeling more stress and more overwhelm and more grief and more anxiety and worry and fear, right? Because that's like kind of the climate.
Yeah.
But
specifically, one really just beautiful individual that I was talking to was saying how, yeah, actually right now I'm being faced with a lot of challenges, but I feel so peaceful about it. I feel trusting that, it's going to work itself out. And so, like, what's up with that? Right?
What's up with that?
Makes you think like, wow, okay, what's that person having? I want some of that.
Yeah, so maybe we can unpack this just a little bit deeper to investigate and get curious as to why someone might be flowing down the river in this really dangerous river with creatures and rapids, and it's a class 5 river, and they got their life jacket, and why someone might be like, woo-wee, this is fun. I feel like this is going to be awesome. And then someone else might be screaming for dear life and just holding on and worried and fearful. Yeah, so really, it all comes down to where stress, fear, worry, anxiety, all these kind of emotional states come from. If we think, and if we're under the interpretation that our fear or anxiety is coming from being in the river, or coming from life challenges, or coming from somewhere outside of ourselves, then what we're essentially doing is we're placing our power outside of ourselves. We're creating that kind of victim relationship. We're not taking responsibility for our experience, and we are at the whim of life. And life is going to toss us and turn us and churn us and twirl us all around, and we're going to get kind of beaten up, or that's going to be our experience, right? But if we are more identified with the true nature of how life happens through us, and what some people refer to as an inside out understanding of our experience is not due to being in the river, it's not due to being up against life challenges, but our moment to moment experience is only due to our perception, our state of mind, our state of thought from moment to moment, which is completely out of our control, actually. A lot of people like to think that they control their thoughts, but good luck with that. I have yet to meet anyone who has demonstrated control of thoughts. But the fact of the matter is we can at least have an understanding that we are in control. Nonetheless, we are in control of our human experience, and our human experience is generated from within. And a lot of people might be, just trying to juggle this and, oh, well, then I should be thinking good thoughts, right? But if we just unplug from that narrative and unplug from that desire to be in control of our thoughts, to be in control of our life, and to kind of rest and recognize that our moment to moment experiences is just kind of ever shifting, ups and downs and all arounds, even when we're holding on for dear life in the river, we probably have a moment of exhilaration. Oh my gosh, I've never been in a river like this before. This is actually quite exciting. And then we, of course, get out of the river and we survive. And maybe we wouldn't sign up to do it again, but we at least are grateful. We have this kind of renewed sense of trust or groundedness in who we are, maybe even more strength and confidence. So as we kind of take almost like a back seat, just get out of the way, get out of the driver's seat. We think we're kind of in control driving, but we kind of allow ourselves to coast in the car that is driven by spirit, driven by God, I don't know, driven by the universe, driven by some force, power, creator beyond us, right? Then we can relax a little bit, take the pressure off.
Yeah.
And of course, as we do, the inherent byproduct, side effect, consequence of that is just less stressful thinking, more peace and trust, and less noise and static in our consciousness, and therefore more of a clear connection with our true nature, or more awareness rather of that clear connection, which leads to more access to creative solutions and ideas and inspiration. So it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. And I feel like you covered it all, Dr. Ben. But I want to go back to that question of like, well, what's that person have, or what's that person taken? What makes them so peaceful, even though life is, having its way with them, and tumbling them around, right? How do they maintain their peace and their trust and their ease through all of this? And, the answer is that there's nothing different. There's nothing different inherently between that person and you or me or Ben or anyone, because actually innately at our core, our true essence is peace, and our true essence is trust, and our true essence is love. That's really who we are at our core. And the only thing that really creates a separation between our perception and our reality, or our experience of who we are, is our thinking that we are something other than an innately peaceful and trusting and loving being.
Yeah. And, a lot of people say, oh, those darn thoughts, if I need some better thoughts. So that those insecure thoughts, those limiting beliefs, that I just need to get a get a grasp on those and like choke them out to death, and then they'll wither away.
Or the visual someone told us about today was like, if only I could just cut off the top of my head and place it on the bedside table when I go to sleep, right?
Or find the switch that flicks the brain into peace mode, or at least maybe shuts it down, like to like sleep, like you can turn off your computer into like sleep mode. Yeah, again, good luck with that. Good luck with that. But as we start to understand more deeply just the nature of mind, thought, consciousness, and where this human experience comes from, then we're, as I like to see it, just more connected with our innate common sense. And it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to latch onto those crazy thoughts. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to believe that lie, or I'm not going to believe that anxiety-ridden story. I'm not going to believe into that fear. I'm going to look and see beyond that. I'm going to see through that lie. I'm going to see the truth, which is, yeah, that's an anxious thought. That's a fearful thought. I'm a human being. I have anxious thoughts and fearful thoughts and insecure thoughts and all sorts of thoughts. Even have depressed thoughts, even have crazy thoughts. By golly, we all have the craziest thoughts. And I was just thinking about it. The other share that we heard recently of some story about someone in like a mental institution. It's like a story about a story. I don't know it, but I guess in essence, the person in the mental institution is actually the person that's most sane, looking out in the world, and everyone's crazy. And that's just a beautiful metaphor once again. If one person's crazy, we're all crazy. Right? Like we're all equally accessible. Like we all have equal access to sanity and insanity, if you will, quote unquote. I don't like those words, but anyway, so back to where we were going with this, as we understand the nature of our thought machine, between our ears or wherever it is, we can learn to lay off, let it do what it does, and focus more on where our truth is, which is not in our thinking, but more in our soul.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I think the more experiences we have of kind of like what you're saying, like hanging out in the back seat, just kind of riding the rapids, right? And just kind of trusting.
Yeah.
The more experiences we have of that, eventually, like you said, we get to kind of, the aha, the solution, the whatever. We figure out what we need to do. And we realize like, wow, I got through that without freaking out or without going into crazy overdrive control mode.
Or maybe only freaked out 7 out of 10. And last week I freaked out 9.5 out of 10. And hey,
exactly.
Like I survived.
And so it grows and grows this our trusting of remembering that, like, oh gosh, like there is a greater force out there that's really supporting us. And actually this kind of illusion of control, thinking we can control, really, kind of all it's really good for most of the time is creating a state of tension in our body and in our emotional state.
Yeah.
So, I just want to end by actually really thanking these clients who have been sharing their experiences. It's funny because whenever someone shares, like, I don't think they realize sometimes the impact of that share. It's like you never really know who it's going to touch. And I've been touched deeply by some of these shares from clients where, it's like maybe on the outside, I would perceive that whatever they're being faced with in life is actually a lot more challenging than maybe what I'm experiencing right now. From my perception, that's maybe what I would kind of conclude. Yet it's like, whoa, you're expressing a greater state of peace than I'm feeling right now. Wow.
Just goes to show you where peace actually comes from. Just goes to show you where fear and anxiety and overwhelm actually comes from. Yeah, we all have been in the state of, oh my gosh, There's so much to do. Look at my to-do list. No way. I'm not going to do all that. Look at all the things I got to do. Like, no way. And in that moment of overwhelm, like, oh my gosh, we just kind of like, okay, surrender. I'm not going to do it all. I can't do it all. And guess what? It's okay. I'm going to survive this. I have survived 100% of the challenges life has provided me. The odds are in my favor of surviving the next one. So we can kind of just start to have that buoyancy again, that trust. And it's like, oh yeah, there's a huge rapid ahead. There's a huge rock ahead, but I've got this life preserver on. I've, know how to navigate these waters. We all are learning and being informed as we navigate through life, and we gain greater levels of trust and confidence. And then we forget it all, right? It goes out the window and we cry for mommy and daddy and think the world's going to end. But then we remember, because these insights are inevitable. So thanks for joining us in this short little brief conversation in this Wisdom Wednesday episode of the Alter Your Health podcast. Feel free to comment, share, or whatever you may like be called to do.
Yeah.
But also feel free to join the weekly conversations where we go deeper in our Peace on Earth program. And you can learn more at alter.health /peace on earth.
Yes. Yeah. And just a little bit more detail about the Peace on Earth weekly call. It's a Zoom call where we're able to connect, see your face, hear your voice, hear your experiences, hear your stories. You have a chance to share your insights, your experiences with the group. And really, we do all lift each other up. We all remind each other of innately who we are. And you can join on a sliding scale.
That's true. That's true. And on another note, another announcement, just real quick, right around the corner, starting next Monday, is a whole food plant-based challenge in the plant-based and stress-free Facebook group. If you're already in there, we're excited and looking forward to starting that. It's going to be focused on anti-inflammatory lifestyle. Get into the root of the issue. So that's going to be great. And you can sign up again at alter.health. There's links and stuff there. So thanks again for sharing this time with us. We look forward to seeing you, hearing you, being with you next time, wherever that might be.
Bye for now.
Peace and love.